Welcome to the Business Blogging Summer School by Sarah Arrow. My name is Alice Elliott, also known as the Fairy Blog Mother, and today I shall be talking to you about landing pages. Any page that your visitor or reader arrives on when they first come to your blog is known as a landing page. It's a page that they land on when they first visit. Of course, you might think it might be the home page, but it doesn't necessarily can be. It can be any page, blog listings page, your blog post page, because you know that each post has its own page, your about page, and it can also be a specific web page, static web page that you've created for a particular purpose. Now, if you create one of these specific static web pages, you've got to be aware of the art of persuasion. These particular landing pages will have one purpose only. That purpose is to persuade your visitors to do something that you want them to do. The main function is to get them to respond to your call to action on that page. The one thing you want that particular reader or visitor to do. Therefore, when you write this particular page or create it, you must have in your head your ideal customer or avatar, so that the information you put in this page is of the correct value and the most important information that they will then be wanting to read to the very end. This page needs to be aware of the psychological element that is a combination of attraction and persuasion that leads these particular people down that page to get the perfect prize that they cannot resist. So why should you have a landing page? I've given you 5 possibles for having a landing page here, but you might be able to think of some more. The 5 are that you might want to get more blog subscribers, people who then obviously let know whenever you latest published a post, a notification will arrive in their inboxes to tell that you've done so. You might want to get more people to subscribe to your newsletter list, to give their emails to you for exchange for maybe a particular ebook or some other prize incentive sort of thing. Again, it's exactly the same for getting leads for business. If you get people to sign up to get something in return, you can then use those details to promote your other businesses. These particular warm leads could then go to another landing page where you could sell a product or a service that you're trying to promote your business with. Or you could have a landing page to book for clients for one-to-ones or any other sessions you do with them. Landing pages are great because they provide a better experience for your readers and your visitors than they would get on any other of your pages on your blog or your website. The reason is because this is a standalone page dedicated for that particular kind of visitor, and it has only one purpose, and that is to educate and persuade visitors to do one thing only, to do what you want to do, to buy or to sign up or whatever. Therefore, there should be one message only on that page to stop any confusion that may occur, and there should be definitely no distractions to divert them away to other pages or other websites or blogs, and then they therefore will forget because they will never return. So the idea is to keep them on that page. Your landing page will not look like any of the other web pages. For example, part of the distraction would be the sidebar and navigation bar at the top and the footer bar. They are not there, or preferably would not be there on a landing page. You also don't want to have any other superfluous links that would drive your visitor away to somewhere else. to keep them on the page. Your page is a bit longer than a normal static web page. How long it is will depend on what you've got to say and what you've got to sell, what you want the people to buy. If it's something very simple like signing up for an newsletter to get leads, or to get them to give them an ebook or something simple like that, it doesn't have to be a very long e-page. In fact, this particular page could be certainly no more than what they see on their screen. But if you want them to buy a very expensive course, for example, something that's like, say, £1,000, obviously your page is going to be longer because you want to say much more in it to make them realise it's a very good deal they can't miss. If it's a less expensive course, say £97, you don't have to have quite so much, but you still need to have the same intensity and persuasive content to keep them there, to stop them going elsewhere. The whole purpose of this page is to act like a funnel, to drive your visitor down the page, right down, to absorb them and everything you have to say, and then to persuade them to respond to the call to action at the bottom. Now, what is this call to action, you ask? The call to action, I've given here 5 possible reasons for having a call to action. It could be obviously to get the latest posts whenever you publish them into their email. You could get them to subscribe to a free gift, and therefore that's how you get their email system onto your newsletter providers. They could want to book a place on a particular course or workshop that you're doing. You may want them to buy a totally fantastic product that you've got on offer. By the way, you only have one product per page, not several, because that would confuse them. And you also want to, you may want to have a landing page to get them to book an appointment with you for a one-to-one or any other sessions that you may want to, depending on your coach or whatever else you do. Now, what do these call to actions look like? Now, you've probably recognised this one here. This one is probably seen everywhere. It's the one that you use to sign up to get email updates for whenever you publish a post. You can see them everywhere. But they tend to be a bit generic. And the answer now is to make them a little bit more interesting, especially when they include an incentive like an ebook or a workbook or a cheat sheet or something like that. Half the time, well, you hope that half the time, people don't realise that you, by offering them this wonderful product for free, that you are getting in exchange their email address, which then you can then use to promote and market them later on. Another obvious kind of call to action would be the buy now button. And it could either look like this, in a nice striking colour, beautifully designed so that it sticks out and it is definitely different from the rest of what's on the page. And it'd also be something simple like, the PayPal buttons that you have. Again, specifically designed, though the PayPal buttons aren't specifically well designed, to encourage the person to click on them and therefore pay for whatever you're trying to promote in your landing page. And of course, then there are other ways of trying to get people to sign up to what you want to do. And there's various psychological designed call to actions. For example, there's one here that has a question. And persuasive questions and commands are great for getting certain kinds of responses. People can't resist a question, and also they find it also very difficult to resist either a yes or a no. Hopefully the question will make them click on the yes rather than they click on the no. Now, again, relevance is extremely important when you've got a landing page, Because when you've worked out who your avatar or your client is, make sure that the information you put on that page is totally created for them. You want them to feel that this is the most important person on that page. This page is created only for them, and that therefore the information that it claims on there is so riveting and so beneficial they can't go anywhere else. They've got to read everything on that page. And another thing about these pages is that the most important part of these pages should be visible at the top, what's called above the fold. And you can see here the stuff that's down there is extra. But to keep and retain and make sure that the visitors go onto your page and are stuck there, riveted, totally interested, what you put on the top above the fold is vital to keep them there. And sometimes with the very simple pages, it's also very important that everything is placed above the fold. If you've got a much longer page, obviously what goes above the fold should definitely be the most perfect stuff to keep them there so that they therefore continue down to the bottom down here. Now, I'm going to give you some elements of what you should put in your landing page. Of course, what goes in your landing page will depend on what it's for, what you're trying to gain from it, and the monetary value of what you are trying to get people to buy or subscribe to. But of course, every page should have a concise and compelling headline to get them interested, to get them to come to the page, to make them stay, to make them realise, yes, this is a very interesting page, I want to know more. Now, psychological elements of keeping them on that page means that you have to be able to relate to the person who is reading that page. This means you acknowledge their problems and their pain, and you have to let them realise that you understand them. You know how they feel. You have an empathy with whatever their problems are at the moment. And if you can do this by telling a little story, that also shows how much that you relate to them. Maybe if you experienced this pain yourself before, maybe you've been through the problems and the angst they're going and you've come out the other side. This kind of story is all very helpful when it comes to getting your reader interested and wanting to know more about what's on your page. You've got to think of the possibilities that probably quite a lot of the people who come to your page will be very busy or will be half interested. So there are various elements you can do to keep them engaged. One thing you can do is have an explanatory video. Now, I have seen some landing pages that have nothing but a video and a call to action. And if you are very clever and you create the right kind of video, that's all you need. Because everything you say in that video should be enough to make them want to click that button down the bottom. However, videos can also be supplemented by whatever else is on the page as well, because people might listen to the video and think, that's nice, and then whatever you put underneath it was obviously going to clinch the deal, because that's exactly what you want them to do. So videos work really well. In fact, landing pages without videos don't work as well as landing pages with videos, but we've yet to find out whether the video on its own will just some people swear by it, but then you've got to have a very clever video. So you can have an okay video accompanying the rest of your page. Now, people who scan down landing pages because they think, this thing's so bloody long, I haven't got time to read this, have a quick look. It's important to arrest their eye movements with the most important elements of what you're trying to say highlighted in different coloured boxes, so that their eyes are arrested as they quickly scan the page and they can't resist reading what's inside them. Another thing that also stops people from scanning down the page are bullet points or numbered lists. because you can say quite a lot in a very small amount of space. That would obviously be more persuasive and enticing for a time-hungry person reading your page. Now, what else? Final page here. Some more elements that you might want to include, especially if you have very long pages trying to sell a high quality, large monetary product or service. Think of the benefits as well as the features of whatever you're trying to sell or promote. The benefits could be what people get out of it, how it changes their life. It's not quite the same as the wonderful features. For example, you know that your coaching is full of fantastic information that is very important to their business, but if you're able to persuade them that this information is going to change their life, it's going to make them successful, it's going to solve all their problems, it's going to make them, breathe a sigh of relief and be able to get on with whatever they've got to do in a much more beneficial and much more approachable way, that's a benefit. That's not quite the same as all the wonderful information you're giving them to get that far. Think of how they respond. Think of the psychological elements of how these people respond to what you've got to give them. Of course, lots of testimonials and social proof, recommendations, feedback. These are all important, especially if you've already done the course before or you've sold the product to other people. Because by gaining what other people say about you, it gives reassurance to others that it's worth their while taking the plunge and buying this product or signing up to the course. Of course, guarantees and free trials, again, enhance the reassurance that everything is going to be fine. And, of course, people like something extra. So if you're able to provide value and relevant bonuses to sweeten the deal, to clinch the whole concept of what you want to try to do to get them to sign up, giving them some extras for nothing as part of the overall price is always going to be something that might make the difference whether they decide to buy or to go elsewhere. Right. A few things your landing page should not have. I've mentioned before that your landing page ideally should be like a single page with no sidebar, navigation or footer, so that you don't distract the visitor from going anywhere else. However, this particular single page should have your branding at the top. Definitely have your banner with who you are and your logo and such like. They need to understand whose landing page they are on. They need to be able to recognise that it belongs to your website. So have the same colours and things like that. Nice, clear fonts and bright, happy images that are relevant to your website. Make them feel they're in the same place. Again, you should not distract the reader or confuse them by having more than one message. For example, if you're selling a designer dress, make sure there's only one designer dress on your landing page, not several, or they're going to get confused and not know which one to choose. And also one function or purpose. You want them to choose one course, not necessarily several courses, and in case unless they're all related. But if you have several courses, maybe get them to sign up to one course first. And once they've completed it, then you can upsell other courses later on other landing pages. Now, you also want things to stop people from driving them away to other places. For example, again, the importance of having the avatar or the ideal client. The kind of words you put on your landing page should only be for them. It's only relevant for them. Don't make it generic. You don't want to attract anybody with a pulse. You want to get the right kind of person reading that page who will be the most perfect, eligible candidate for clicking on that call to action. Any irrelevant links you have on your page will entice them away. You don't want them to be clicking somewhere else and going off and looking at some other blogs or whatever, because if they go, they won't come back. We all know that's the case. Don't let them do that. And of course, using plain English is always a good idea. You don't want to put your potential customer off by confusing them any more than you have to. So, how do you create a landing page? Well, if your theme is quite fancy and you have the ability to create a single page without a sidebar, navigation and footer, then yes, go ahead. Great place to start experimenting with landing pages. But not all themes have that. My particular theme, I use Thrive Themes, does allow me to do this. And therefore, but if your theme doesn't have that, there are alternatives to hand. Now, the two most obvious facilities for creating landing pages are lead pages, which everybody's probably heard of. But there's also my Thrive theme landing pages. Now, the difference is that I want to recommend the Thrive theme landing pages for a purpose. The reason why is not only because I use them and Sarah uses them, is that it is in this case it's a plugin for your WordPress blog. The Thrive lead pages is a plugin. It's not a separately hosted program elsewhere. You don't need to leave your blog. You can still stay on your blog. You can still keep the same branding on your blog. And that's important because it therefore makes it much cheaper to buy. You aren't buying a separate hosting system. You're literally buying a plugin which goes into the back end of your blog, and therefore you can then use with what you've got. You can use it with your existing theme. You don't have to create a brand new different website all over again. There are lots of templates to choose from if you want to have that to make things easier for you, and Thrive are constantly adding to them every day. Whenever I pop in, I think, ooh, there's a new one's popped up. How interesting, how exciting. But if you're very clever, you can either change these templates because they are changeable, they're customizable. You can change them to wherever you want, or you can create your own from a blank sheet. I've done both. It's great fun. And you can create the most amazing landing pages for what you've got. Now, people who say lead pages does all that, yes, it does. But I think Thrive is easier and more exciting. And that's why I want to promote it as the plugin and not the hosted feature for creating your landing pages. And where can you find out about Thrive? Well, at the bottom of my home page here, Barry Blog, the home page, you'll find this, and that's where I recommend a good host, and that's where I recommend how to get hold of Thrive. In fact, why not let's go and have a look at it now? Because here's my home page, and right at the bottom, there we are. There's the Thrive Themes link. That's where you should go and find out about Thrive Themes. I've created my website here. This is my home page. It's on a template. They've got templates for pages as well as landing pages, and you can use them wherever you want. And you can see that there are, here's some call to actions, different ones here. Now, I want to show you now a very simple landing page. If we go to my blog listings page here, you'll see that I have an advert that I've created on the sidebar. And this advert has a call to action, and click here to find out. And it takes you to my very simple, this is a landing page to get people to sign up to get my ebook. And by signing up this ebook, they therefore go onto my newsletter list. It is a landing page because it has no navigation. It has no sidebar. This isn't the sidebar. This is just part of the whole page. There's no sidebar and there's no footer. For example, I'll show you what the navigation and sidebar. Here's the navigation up there on my blog listing page, and at the bottom that's my footer, quite substantial, but you can see that there isn't any of this. So all they've got to do is to read. They recognise who it's from. They read the blurb. Hopefully that will then make them want to fill in this box down here. That's a very simple landing page. Now, there are some pages I want to show you that you might think are landing pages. For example, this one here, my complimentary blog review. You might think, since it's on a single page, because that's what Thrive Themes let me do, that it's a landing page. And in a sense, it is, but it isn't, because it has, of course, the navigation at the top, and it has my footer at the bottom. But it does have, this isn't a video, commentary that, relating to the people I want to entice to do the free review with. There's some social proof. Here's a video of an example of a review, and here's my call to action. So it's sort of like a landing page, but it also has the footer and the navigation. So really, this isn't technically a landing page, but you can use the same ideas, pardon me, when doing your particular pages. Unlike this is a perfect landing page. So you can see how you can play with your landing pages, understanding the psychological elements. I definitely want people to do one thing here only, and that is, I'm going to show you something else quickly. This is a landing page, believe it or not, and the reason why I'm hesitating is that it's done on a theme that doesn't allow me to have a single page. So I've still got here the navigation bar, still got the sidebar, and a bit further down I've still got this massive footer. Luckily there's a lot of space going down and get to the footer. But what they do see above the fold is this, and hopefully they don't notice that. They notice it's very, very simple. It's extremely simple, but believe it or not, this tiny little so-called landing page got me the 700 sign-ups in under 2 weeks that Sarah May has been going on about, and all the various promotions she's been doing. This actually worked. It's very simple, not as sophisticated as this, but it does work. So you can have a go and find out what happens. You probably find this. I mean, I am saying that there's a correct way of doing landing page, but there's also ways of doing a landing page that's another one there, that you would do necessarily at a pinch and see how they would perform. Again, it's done via a call to action. It's done by a special URL, and you go to that particular page and they should therefore then respond by signing up here. And that's the purpose of the landing page. I have another page here that's actually for a course. It has various elements that I want to point out to you. Coloured boxes, nicely coloured testimonials, a nice video, more coloured boxes, lots of bullet points and things. But the call to action is rubbish, I'm afraid to say. There's too much to do. There's too many things for them to look at. They've got a choice here which is going to confuse them. They've got a choice to pay. If they're already a user, they've got to pay. If they're in the EU, they've got to do different things. They can tell a friend. They can. They've got other places to look at, contact us and stuff. There's too much going on here. Oh, by the way, these particular questions are good. Answering any possible questions that people might have is a great thing to put onto your landing page. But be aware of having too many call to actions here. Only have one thing for them to do, and that is to click on it or to buy or to sign up. So, like here, want to read all this stuff, sign up. That is the landing page. So I'll stop now, and you should go away and have a go at creating your own landing page, either by going to the Thrive link down here at the bottom of my homepage and having a little look and see what you think, or by attempting to do your own version with what you've already got. Good luck, and I hope you all succeed in creating stupendously, wonderfully and successful landing pages.